Make this happen. Let's get this going.
Yes.
How are you, Dr. Tiffany?
I mean, just awesome. Just awesome.
How was your week?
Really great. I mean, I flew in from Maryland. I was there all weekend, and I had my people that are spreading the word with me. They put me to work. So I got to speak in different platforms talking about insulin resistance and loving every minute. Just like I heard about you in Alaska, Jim.
It was a great weekend in Alaska, changing a lot of lives.
Yes.
Team up there is doing amazing. So,
Yes.
And that was actually a bunch of medical professionals. So while we do love our Dr. Tiffany, she is not a lone wolf when it comes to medical professionals looking at this system. So
Yes.
it was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. Love that.
Baltimore. You know what? I grew up in I grew up in Colorado, but my father lived in Maryland for quite a bit. The first ever baseball game I ever went to was at the old Camden Yards, 1982. Eddie Murray was the center fielder. Cal Ripken, Billy Ripken, Cal Sr. was coaching. It was pretty amazing. I grew up an Orioles fan because of those experiences.
Huh?
To this day, I've never been able to do the blue crab thing.
Oh,
I
really?
like crab. I like crab, but I just don't like it when they have eyeballs looking at me.
Oh, man, I crack them bad boys open and go to town.
I couldn't do it. They got that zipper thing on the bottom, right? That's the zipper thing, and then you just that's the part that I really struggle with. It's kind of like eating a bug. It's really I like crab cakes.
Oh,
okay. Crab cakes.
Yeah, you don't want to do none of the work.
I'm just nope. And you know what I like? Clusters. I like clusters when there's like the snow crab clusters. I actually really like Dungeness clusters when they kind of got the eyeballs taken off them. The shells are already gone. You know, they're like here's the kind of cleaned up part for you.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. I'll butcher a hog. I don't know how to butcher a crab.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi there, folks. Welcome to our live stream. My name is Jim Grasser, and this is Dr. Tiffany Marie. And we do this live stream every single week, and we like to talk about the Unicity Field Rate System. And welcome to this live stream. Hopefully, you learned something from this live stream. In fact, if you've been invited to this, it's probably somebody thinks that the information in this could benefit you. So stick around. We're only an hour long. We've got amazing testimonials week in and week out, and I am ecstatic. I'm ready to hear Samira's testimony. I'm excited. She has great energy. I was talking to Dr. Tiffany's guest kind of backstage before we went live. I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm really excited. But a little bit about me. So I was a type 2 diabetic. I had a 12.2% A1C. I had a 459 LDL. I had some really awful numbers. And I stumbled across this system, a skeptic, like I think everybody else was. And it was my wife's best friend who told us about it. And I remember when she told me, I thought, it just seems like that's not real. That just seems like that couldn't be. And let's see, I started it on January 4th of 2023, and on February 16th, I have a voicemail from my endocrinologist saying I could quit taking Trulicity altogether. So 43 days. If you got a calendar, that's 43 days in between. And I've been a complete reversal of type 2 diabetes ever since. I now have a 4.8% A1C, and I'm living my best life, and I'm telling everybody about this. And so I truly believe this system saved my life. And along the way, I've met some incredible people like Dr. Tiffany. And we started teaming up, Doc, about July of last year.
Mm-hmm.
We're on 15 months of this live stream.
Wow.
By the way, happy October 1st.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
October 1st.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Tell them about you, Dr. Tiff.
Yes. So hello. Yeah, it's been a long time with me and Jim. No wonder we act like we like siblings.
I know. Well, an older sibling and a significantly younger sibling.
Boo. Anyway, so I am a double board certified physician in family and lifestyle medicine. And I was practicing for 20 years. And I was the one prescribing the medications. You come in with the sugar elevated, blood pressure elevated, you're going to be put on some medications. That's what I knew how to do. And unfortunately, I kept seeing people not getting better. When the last few years, I was sitting there doing virtual primary care across 48 states. and realizing, man, it's not just me in Alabama, it's not just my family, it's the whole country suffering, and nobody's looking better. I decided something else had to happen. Something else had to happen. So I started looking into lifestyle medicine and learning about how that goes after the root causes of conditions. And I studied for that, got board certified, and then I got certified as a metabolic health coach under Ben Bickman, who is awesome. I am such a fangirl of that scientist. I don't know what to do. But yes, yes, yes. One of the world renowned professors in insulin resistance. I mean, you can't be what he tells you. And so we get to learn under him and be able to coach and help people. And so I'm loving that. But not only that, I got to get on the products myself, get off of my blood pressure, help my brother with his insulin, his Trulicity, his metformin from the ICU, no less, and help my mother with her pre-diabetes and multiple sclerosis and being able to wear her heels and play pickleball. It's that type of stuff that makes this worth doing. And then all the other countless people we get to help on a daily basis. This is why I'm here.
Well, and Dr. Tiff, we had every week we bring in some amazing testimonials, but you just mentioned your brother. And I had heard you talking about your brother for quite a while, but then we brought him in as a testimonial. How long ago was that? It was probably 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Ish. And so all of these live streams, by the way, that Dr. Tiff and I do, they're kind of saved in Foreverland on our YouTubes. So you can find Dr. Tiff, Dr. Tiffany Marie on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You can find me as the Healthy Pit Master on everything. But if you go to either one of our YouTubes, you'll see all of these live streams every single week. We keep them up there. And go listen to the one from her brother. It was absolutely amazing. And Dr. Tiff, boy, I don't even know where I'm going to go with this. But the idea of this live stream, I know, is just affecting people's lives. I know that we've changed people's lives with this live stream. And your brother was a very powerful testimonial. Go watch that video. While you're at it, if you're bored and looking for something to do on an airplane or something like that, get the Wi-Fi package and start binge watch Dr. Tiff and I. So I do want to put in a quick little plug, though, for Dr. Bickman. So Dr. Tiff, she's got that book behind her, top left, I guess. Yep. How Not to Get Sick.
Yep.
And that came after this book, Why We Get Sick. And this book right here, written by Dr. Ben Bickman. So he's a professor of cell biology and physiology at Brigham Young University. The guy literally grows fat cells for a living. He studies fat. He studies white and brown fat. And then he pays particular emphasis on the etiology of insulin resistance. Dr. Tiff's going to go into that. And then I'm going to spend a little bit more time talking about him. But let's give a quick little plug for Dr. Ben Bickman on this book right here. If you're looking to learn more than what Dr. Tiff is going to teach you, get that book. That book will change your life. It really kind of is eye-opening. So anyway, that. And then he's also just a good follow on every social media platform. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. Yep. He seems to be the most active on Instagram, in my opinion. But he does these little videos every now and then. And what I think I like about him the most, Dr. Tiff, is, and he's even said this before, it's the fact that he teaches 18 and 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. He says he really has to kind of break it down to make it easy for them to understand. And what he's really doing is he's making it really easy for me to understand.
Yeah.
And it makes it's very digestible. You can understand what he's saying. Whereas sometimes you listen to somebody and they're talking, and man, I feel like I'm drinking water through a fire hydrant. It's obnoxious.
Yeah. But it's not with him. And then what's great is we have the opportunity to be able to hear him at the convention, and everybody can. So not just us.
Put the plug in there.
November 8th. So if you actually want to hear this great scientist we're talking about, and not only that, we have Jason Fung, the author of the Diabetes Code, Life in the Fasting Lane, the Obesity Code. We have multiple other doctors, the Fittest Doc. We even have some women who have notable influencers in women's health. We're covering every basis.
Dr. Jamie Seaman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Now, that's something I want to point out. Dr. Tiff just talked about Dr. Jason Fung. This book right here, Life in the Fasting Lane, written by Dr. Fung, but he's also written the Diabetes Code, the Obesity Code, the Cancer Code, the Diabetes Code Cookbook, the Obesity Code Cookbook. I believe Dr. Fung is a 5-time best-selling author. I could be wrong.
Wow.
but he's a nephrologist out of Toronto, Canada. He's a kidney guy. And he found the connection between insulin resistance and poor kidney health and started addressing, rather than prescribing medications, he started addressing the root cause, a lot like what Dr. Tiff is saying that she's doing. Now, Dr. Fung wrote a lot of books. And what I want to point out on this book right here is if you go to this book and you flip it around and look who he asked to endorse it, Dr. Ben Bickman. Yeah. This is his guy. And then if you get Dr. Bickman's book, it's forwarded by Dr. Jason Fung. These guys both have a very similar mission of educating people on why they're sick. How did you get sick? And, you know, I heard a doctor on, I think it was TikTok. You know, once you get into the algorithm, you start getting all of the people. I'm sure everybody knows that, right? This particular doctor, he was talking about, you know, you don't, I believe he was an Indian doctor. And he was talking about, I bet you'd recognize him. I think he's a pretty big functional medicine doctor. And he was talking about how you don't have an Ozempic deficiency. You don't have a metformin deficiency. You don't have a rosuvastatin calcium deficiency. You're eating the wrong foods. And it's pretty crazy when you start going down that path and you start following some of these doctors. The American Diabetes Society, a group of doctors who have gotten together that said, hey, we're not going to teach people how to manage type 2 diabetes. We're going to teach them how to reverse it. And just that little bit of a difference in their verbiage means everything. Manage means they get paid for the rest of their lives and the rest of your life. Reverse means you're better. You don't need them anymore. And the American Diabetes Society is really striving to teach people how to reverse type 2 diabetes. And I don't know about you, Dr. Tiff, I'm sure I'm speaking for you as well. I'm ecstatic to say that Unicity is the first corporate sponsor for the American Diabetes Society. That is a huge deal. That shows Unicity's commitment to metabolic health, to this. Yeah. So I guess to that point, if you've been invited to this, stick around and listen. This may be the live stream that actually just changes your life. If you're on the system, I love asking this question. If you are on the system and you are excited, you're like, hey, man, I've got these amazing things happening. I want to tell the world about it. This is the perfect time to do that. We are live right now on 12 different platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X, TikTok, you name it. Rumble, we're on all of them. However you got to do it, share it. Share this with 5 people. I'm going to encourage everybody who's watching right now, share this live stream with 5 people on whatever platform you're on. Okay, if you're on Facebook, it's really easy. Just type the little @ symbol and then start typing a name. And as soon as your friend's name pops up, hit enter. It's shared on Facebook. If you're on TikTok, down to the lower, I guess it'd be lower right-hand corner, that's a little arrow, tap that. Same thing with YouTube, tap that little arrow and share it with somebody. And let's help other people get the message, because that really, Dr. Tiffany, is what this is all about, helping somebody else. There's enough people who don't care about us. We need to start showing people how to get better. So
yeah, yes.
And then at the end of this, should you decide you want to purchase the products, get with the person who referred you here, okay? Whoever it was that referred you here, they will tell you how to order the products. If you stumbled across Dr. Tiff and I, just reach out to Dr. Tiff or myself, and we'll point you in the right direction. Okay, what did I miss, Dr. Tiff? Are we?
Well, no, in that same vein, if you do want to actually go to the convention and be able to hear these great speakers, reach out to the person that invited you into this call as well.
Yes. That's going to be an amazing conference.
Yes.
Dr. Nina Teichels, you know, we've been taught for years and years and years that fat makes fat, right?
Yep.
Fatty foods, they're going to make you fat. She wrote a book called The Big Fat Surprise 10 years ago and talked about the demonization of saturated fat and fats and maybe the over glorification of the carbohydrates.
Yep.
You know, really, we've been taught to go to this high carb, low fat diet. And it was interesting. I was listening to an interview with her, Dr. Tiff, where she says, As a society, we've been really largely compliant with that.
Mm-hmm.
The powers that be would say that we could have done better, but as a society, we've really kind of been pretty compliant.
Mm-hmm.
We generally tend to go low fat, no fat. We choose chicken breast over chicken thighs. We
Mm-hmm.
choose chicken over beef, right? We
Mm-hmm.
generally have been compliant with that. We get our 11 servings of grains every day
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then some. And what has it done? Obesity
Yes.
rates are on the rise. Type 2 diabetes rates are on the rise. Heart disease is still hanging out at that number one. And so she wrote a great book called The Big Fat Surprise. And it would be an amazing read for anybody who's interested in just educating themselves. And while I'm out doing a plug, Dr. Mindy Pels, I
Yes.
see that book behind you there, Dr. Tiff.
Yes. That's my girl too. I love me some Mindy Pels.
Fast Like a Girl would be a great book for women who are trying to go down this natural health route. Okay, Dr. Tiff, I'm going to shut up. I could keep talking about this. This is really exciting. The connections that Unicity is making in the metabolic health space.
Yes. No, it is. It
we
is.
can talk about that for quite a while, but we've actually got a live stream here. So why don't you tell us about Samira?
Yes. 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 Okay. So, you know what? I am so excited about this lady right here. So I got to meet her in Miami in person, but and once you meet her, you realize, oh, she is a force to be reckoned with. Everybody who saw her was like, who is that statuesque woman? Who is that person you're with? And I was like, this awesome lady that decided she wanted to join this mission too. And she has a great story. So I am not going to belabor the point and just let her do her thing.
Hey y'all. So I'm Samira, and I'm going to tell you my story because it's something incredible. So March of 2022, I had a disc in my back ruptured, and what that did was the disc in between my vertebrae, the liquid that was inside came out, and when that happened, my vertebrae, the bones started to sit on my nerves. So when that happened, my back went out. And when my back did go out, I was holding my 7-month-old son. And with no warning, we just fell on the floor. So I tried to get up, and I couldn't get up. I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing. So my son crawled over, and he touched me. Woo! And when he did, I screamed because my body was on fire.
Hmm.
So everyone came upstairs because they heard me screaming. So I said, something's wrong. I can't get up. So they was like, what do you want us to do? I was like, I don't know. We need to call 911. We got to do something. So we called 911. They came right away, and they tried to move me, and they couldn't. They were so scared to touch me because they was like, we can't touch you. So they had to call the fire department. So they came and they had to bring me a special chair so they can remove me out the house and down the stairs and outside into the ambulance. You're talking about somebody who was screaming. The pain was no joke. I didn't know back pain can even get this way. I didn't know at in my early 30s I can be even dealing with this. So we got to the hospital. They came to examine me, and the doctor tried to lift my leg up. Talking about somebody screaming, everyone came and they thought something was wrong, and the doctor backed up because he was so scared. He said, I'm so sorry," and he said, "We have to admit you." I said, "I can't stay in the hospital. I got children. I have a family. I have a life. I can't stay here." And the doctor said, "I can't let you leave. It'll be a liability." So I called my mom and my family and said, "I have to stay in the hospital." And they said, "Why?" I said, "They don't know what's wrong and they don't know why my back went out." And when I got admitted, They took me to the room. We did exams, we did x-rays, everything. They said you have an L5S1 disc rupture. I said, what the heck is that? They said, well, the disc in between your vertebrae collapsed. I said, okay, so fix me. They said, well, the only way we can fix you is surgery. And they said, well, we have to remove your spine, part of your spine through the abdomen and replace it with an artificial spine. I said, I can't do that. I said, I can't do that. They said, well, you're going to remain in the hospital until you can walk out this hospital because you're not leaving this hospital without the surgery. I said, yes, I am. So I was in the hospital for 2 months. And during the time in the hospital, I had to have somebody feed me because every time I lifted up my body or even moved, it was so much pain. If I had to go to the bathroom, someone had to come with me, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. And it took me a month, well, 3 weeks to do one bowel movement because my body was in so much pain that I couldn't relax it to move my bowels. And they had to bathe me because I couldn't bathe myself. And the doctors and nurses was just apologizing because they were so sorry. And I told them it was okay because, I can't do it on my own. So we in it together. So we were in it together. And I know I'm crying, but this is the first time I'm telling my story. And I think people need to hear this because I know it's going to help somebody. So I released myself out the hospital because I had to go home to my children. I just had my son. He was 6-7 months. I was still breastfeeding. And I told him I can't stay here. And they said, we don't recommend that you leave because, you're going to make your back worse. And I said, I can't stay here. I have to go home to my children. So I went home and they gave me so much medication. All I did was sleep all day. And I couldn't get out of bed because the pain was just terrible. It was terrible. My whole body was on fire. It was on fire. Someone touched me. I was screaming because my whole body was it was on fire. My body was attacking itself. I didn't want to eat. I stopped eating. When I went to the hospital, I was 200 pounds and I went down to 150 pounds because I was so scared to eat. It took me 1 year to stop walking without a cane because I couldn't walk without a cane. And people don't notice. I was walking with a cane and a walker. And it took me 2 more years to use the bathroom by myself without somebody holding me or me leaning to the side because the pressure was just unbearable. I had to have my children, and their dad in there. And I just felt so useless as a mother. I couldn't cook. I couldn't go to no games. I couldn't go outside with my children. We couldn't go to the park. We couldn't do nothing. All they did was watch me for 2 years in so much pain. And my bedroom was on the 3rd floor of our house. So I had to move everything to the 1st floor because I couldn't go up and down the stairs. I was too scared to even lift a leg to even go up the stairs. I didn't even attempt it. So I had to stay on the ground level floor because I was too scared of falling down the stairs or getting hurt again. And the doctors did everything, medication, acupuncture, physical therapy. Nothing helped the pain, nothing. And all they kept telling me was, you need to get the surgery. And I kept holding it off because I know it was a better way that I did not need surgery to heal my back. And this is the 3rd year that I'm actually able to sit here like I'm sitting here now, because before I couldn't drive more than 30 minutes. I couldn't walk more than 5-10 minutes without stopping and sitting down because the pain was so bad. I'm surprised I'm even crying tears because I cried for 3 years of all the pain while I was in. And I told God that this is not going to be my life. Like, I really wanted to just give up and said, God, just take me, because I cannot live like this. And I didn't want my children to see me as a mother who can, I can help my children. So I had moved out of state because my parents thought, maybe warmer weather will help your back. And I moved to NC and I was still in pain. They brought me a special bed. They thought that would help. It didn't help. It took me 20 minutes to get out of bed. I'm looking at my bed right now because it used to take me 20 minutes just to get out of bed because every time I would roll or move or step down, the pain would shoot from my foot up into the back of my neck. So it was terrible. So I moved to North Carolina and I started working with a company, a nonprofit named Stand for the Silence. And they help with suicide prevention. That's why I was working with children because I was suicidal. And I wanted to help those with that mindset because, suicide is never the answer. It's always a better way. And I met a woman named Miss Beverly. And she walked up to my table because I was taking donations that day. And she said, "What you got going on here?" And I said, I'm just here working, doing my nonprofit thing. And she said, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go in the store. I'm gonna come and talk to you." I said, "Okay." I said, "Who this lady?" So she came back out the store and she said, "What you got going on here?" So I told her what was going on. I do suicide prevention. I'm taking donations for the children, raising money to keep our program going. So she said, "This all you do?" I said, "No, I write books. I do some stuff." I said, "Dang." So she was like, "Well, I'm gonna give you my number." And she was like, "Well, when you gonna do some more things, you call me." I said, "Okay." I said, "I like her." So I called Miss Beverly and me and her sat down for lunch and she told me, about a protocol she was taking. And she said it helped her. And she told me her symptoms. And I said, okay. I brushed it off because I heard it all before. I heard everything like, try this, try that. I said, okay, whatever. So I ordered the product. And I didn't even tell Miss Beverly that I had any symptoms. I didn't tell anybody anything. And I ordered the product and I tried it. And 2 weeks into using the product, I rolled out of bed without, I just got up and I said, "What the hell?" I said, I thought I was still sleeping. I was dreaming because I was like, all right. I said, okay, that's different. I said, "Mom." She said, "What?" I said, "My back feel better." She said, "What you talking about?" I said, "Mom." I said, "My back feels better." And she said, "Girl, I don't want to hear that." And I did a squat. And she looked at me and she said, "Do it again." I did another squat.
So
And
you
she said,
thought, "Hey, I've been stuck for 3 or 4 years. It feels good right now. Let me start doing some squats."
Like, who does that? Right? Who does?
I just wanted to. Okay.
yeah, cause I've always been moving and active. So to be still for 2-3 years, woo, I was like, man, I should do a marathon or something. And oh my goodness, 30 days into the product, I lost 30 pounds. When I was 198 and I'm down to now 170. And I'm 4 months in now on this protocol. And I'm sitting here now for 30 minutes with no complaining. I don't have to get up and stretch. I don't have to say, "Excuse me, I got to go, stretch my back. It's hurting." I don't feel any of that. I had chronic inflammation to the point where I couldn't use the bathroom because I couldn't sit down. They had to bring me a special, toilet thing, to use with handles in the bathroom. Like, I was like, I'm in my 30s. Like, why am I going through this? Like, what did I do? I said, how treat people good? It's like, why? And my doctors couldn't they couldn't understand now that, like, well, Samira, you're walking now and you're moving. What's going on? A miracle. And I can do all the things I couldn't do 3 years ago. Like from
Yeah.
where I started to where I'm at now, it's a total difference. Like Dr. Tiffany, Pitmaster, I was walking with a cane at 37. And I couldn't walk down the street with a cane. People are looking at me like, what's wrong with her? And I've been slim my whole life. And I never had a disease, never got sick up until this point. And that's what I couldn't understand. And I always thought that because you're slim, you're healthy. Like, I'm good. I don't need to do all those things everybody else do. I can eat whatever I want. I could not. I love sugar. I ate sugar every single day. Pancakes in the morning, waffles, whatever I wanted to eat, eggs, bacon, sausage, whatever I wanted to eat, I ate it. Cereal, Trix, Fruit Loops, Captain Crunch.
That's a recipe for diabetes. A great recipe for diabetes.
It is. And sugar took me out. And I didn't know sugar could damage your body like it damaged mine. Sugar
Right.
literally took me out. Sugar almost wanted me to take my own life, which is like crazy. And this is my testimony that you can do this. And this protocol, Miss Beverly just don't know that she changed my life. I was
Yes.
not this confident 3 years ago. I was not this talkative, vibrant person 3 years ago. I was sitting in the room in the dark, just sitting there doing nothing but thinking those negative thoughts. And I'm sitting here now glowing, lit up like a Christmas tree with my kids waiting for Christmas Day to open those presents. Like, that's how good I feel. And I have to tell everybody about this protocol.
Yes.
Like, I lost the weight. I have no inflammation. My mood is better. I feel better. My blood pressure isn't spiked up. And no, I don't eat no more sugar.
So over on TikTok, because I can't share the TikTok comments through here. TikTok doesn't have a great integration with this program here, but Karen, when you're telling your story, Karen says, "I'm so sorry this lady had to go through this." Somebody else, Mallory, said, "I'm so sorry you had to go through all this pain." And then as you got towards the recovery side, Brenda said, "God bless you." And I thought I was just sharing some in here as well. That's powerful.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
information.
Yes, it is. But not only that, thank you so much for sharing. And not Jim, she
Yep.
asked to share. So, she was like, I am going to bear myself in front of all these people I don't know. And so your tears mean everything. That's going to touch so many people because there's too many people struggling with all that pain. So I appreciate you for being vulnerable and sharing, because the best part of this is the end part, is the part where,
Yes.
we're on the phone and I'm talking to her. She was like, I'm sitting in this car, I'm driving. I couldn't do this before. I
Right.
couldn't sit here. Simple stuff that people take for granted. You now, you count it all joy because it's
Yeah.
something that you weren't able to do before. So I'm so excited for you. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. It all shines through, sis. It does.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Dr. Tiffany.
Yes. Yes.
And
yes,
Yolanda likes the hair wrap. I think,
Yeah.
this
Thank you.
probably wouldn't look the.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm going to bring you back here. What I want to do is shut your camera off, but I want
Yes.
to be back out here in a little bit, Samira.
Yeah.
Boy, you're getting a lot of love.
And one more thing, I'm not on no medication. Yeah. I wrote my doctor a letter. I have the letter if people want to see. I told my doctor, I don't want no more medication. And that was it.
I'm ecstatic for you. Okay,
Yes,
what I'm going
love
to do, I'm going to shut you on your camera, let Dr. Tiffany explain to us what is going on here, and
Yes.
we'll bring you back towards the end to take any Q&A. Does that
Yes.
work? Samira,
Yes.
Thank you very much. That was amazing.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Dr. Tiffany,
Yes.
you weren't kidding, huh?
No, I wasn't kidding. I didn't know it was going to get that bad because I was trying to hold back the tears myself. So, we got to move forward or else we won't get out of this live.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Woo. Okay, to get myself together. Okay. Well, what we're talking about is we're talking about an awesome protocol that is changing people's lives to that degree. Who wouldn't be this excited to talk about this? So the problem, cardiometabolic health. That's the problem, and people don't realize that, especially when you hear stories like Samira. So this Tufts University study, which we see in the middle here, that showed that 7% of American adults have good cardiometabolic health. 7. Y'all heard me right. 7%. What about the other 93%? Yeah, that's a problem. And then the medications we use to prescribe to try to help this, it only decreases the risk for cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, by 1%. But when you make the lifestyle changes, stop eating all the sugar like Samir was talking about, right? Do some exercise when you can you can decrease that by 39%. And like Jim said earlier, heart disease is still the number one killer, even though they told us eat low fat foods, right? No, that didn't fix anything. So clearly, we haven't got to the root cause. And so what we're finding out with people like Dr. Ben Bickman, Dr. Jason Fung, insulin resistance is at the core of all these issues. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, inflammation, it goes hand in hand with inflammation, arthritis, pain, migraine, so many things, erectile dysfunction. And so when we say insulin, we're talking about a hormone that's released from the pancreas. The pancreas is an organ behind the stomach, and it is pushing this glucose molecule into the liver, the muscle, and the fat cells. That's what it's, it has a lot of jobs, but that's the job we're going to focus on in this presentation. So in this simple example, when you eat those pancakes, those waffles that Samir was talking about, your pancreas releases insulin, but it usually releases a lot of insulin because, as you can imagine, by the time the insulin gets to the bloodstream, some of that glucose has been absorbed, so you don't need as much insulin, and then it drops it so much that now you have a glucose crash, okay? And that's that fatigue or itis or brain fog. Some of that's from the brain fog too. And then what happens is a couple hours later, now you kind of want something that's either sugary or salty, right? Difficulty losing weight because you're constantly snacking. And when that insulin is high, it's going to store what you're eating as fat. And then you get the skin tax. That's not genetics. That's not old age. If you have more than 5 or 6 of these, that is linked to insulin resistance. On top of that, psoriasis. And then even the dark patches on the neck, that's not dirt. That is actually from insulin resistance. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, polycystic ovarian syndrome. We talked a great deal about low testosterone and the man boobs and what happens there last night. What a great call. And then the hormone imbalance, even with thyroid disease. It's not just diabetes, people. So how did we get here? Samir was talking about it. Constantly having a bunch of carbohydrates. So not just the sweets, because some people are like, I don't do sugar. Well, the cookies, the crackers, the chips, that gets broken down to glucose too. And when you're doing a good amount of carbohydrates for breakfast or for that snack in between or lunch, that afternoon snack or dinner or that dessert, you're constantly bathing your cells in insulin. And you're eating too often because you were told to do that. That's what that food pyramid told us to do. 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates, eat every couple hours. I know this is sounding familiar for you people because I used to tell people this. But unfortunately, that's what led us here. Now, unfortunately, you have people like Samira who feel horrible. Okay, they have all these other symptoms. They're having symptoms similar to, Aunt Bessie who had type 2 diabetes and had to get their foot amputated. So they're freaked out, right? And so they go to see the doctor and they're like, I know my sugar is going to be up. But when they get there and the doctor checks the blood work, the A1C is not in the pre-diabetes range. Nope, it's not. It's not in the type 2 diabetes range. It's normal. So they're sitting there like, you got to be kidding me. I know something is wrong with me. I've had conversations with patients. I have. Before I understood things quite a bit better, before I took that red pill, I would be sitting there and they're like, I know something's wrong. And I'm looking at them. I'm saying, I know something's wrong too. But their blood work came back normal. They were frustrated. I was frustrated. And we didn't have answers. And they were having all these symptoms here, but their sugar was normal because unfortunately, before you get to type 2 diabetes, you're going to have all this other stuff first. But doctors aren't checking for the insulin being high. We're just checking after the sugar because that's what we're taught to do. So we usually don't step in and do anything, considering what we do is usually medications, but we usually don't step in until the sugar is high. But your blood pressure, your cholesterol, all those things are going to be messed up before your sugar comes up. Because when insulin is high, what it does is it causes your kidneys to hold on to sodium. And then that's going to make water follow sodium. Now the blood volume is going to be high. And so, yeah, think about that. That's going to increase the blood pressure. It makes the inner lining get all fluffy, would be a simple way to say that. So it's not smooth. So now you got that fluid rushing through a non-smooth surface. That's going to increase the pressure too. Then when you have the insulin high, it messes with the nitric oxide. And so that doesn't allow blood vessels to dilate like they should. So you have the increased pressure, the increased blood volume, they're not dilating. That's going to make the pressure even worse. And that's without your sugar being high. Okay. Then it also causes your liver to release more triglycerides and then more of the LDL, the small dense particles of LDL that get into the lining and actually cause the blockages, cause the arterioles, the inside the arteries to get smaller and smaller and smaller till you get things like heart attacks and strokes from the high insulin. Then it affects your ovaries for women, making more cysts, causing hair growth in places that aren't supposed to be there, chest or face, promoting weight gain, but also causing the menstrual cycles to be irregular, being the leading cause of infertility for women. And so what's an awesome blessing is, we have people like Samir's stories, but we also have women that have been struggling to have children. We were able to even have one of them on this live not too long ago and struggling for years. But once they started using this protocol, they were able to get pregnant. And we have the fruit of that. And so when we're talking about insulin resistance, what goes hand in hand with that? Inflammation. That's what Samir is talking about. That inflammation does a lot of stuff. I mean, yes, it does the joint pain, the back pain, like she's describing, swelling for some people, but it also screws up our gut, okay? Causes gut dysbiosis. You get stuff growing in the gut that's not supposed to be there, yeast, bad bacteria, and we need the trillions of bacteria in our gut to work appropriately because we need them to break down what we're eating, to get the nutrients out of what we're eating and get the toxins and the other stuff out so we poop it out, for lack of a better term, right? And then if you don't feed your gut, the bacteria, the right things, those bacteria in there start eating the lining. And so now you're having something called leaky gut. So the stuff you are taking in, the toxins, the food, that is starting to leak out into your abdominal cavity. Yeah, that's problematic. But on top of that, that inflammation messes with your T cell function. And T cells tell your body what not to attack. So if they are all confused, they're attacking stuff they don't need to. They can start attacking things like your joint for autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, your gut unnecessarily for things like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, or your brain, multiple sclerosis, and I can go on and on and on. So we need that inflammation down. But how can we reverse this, right? Well, immediately, the first thing is cut out the processed food. So not just the sugars, all this man-made crap that actually is screwing with us. It's screwing with us, allowing us to be feeling like we're addicted to these foods. So anything that's packaged, boxed, barcoded, it is not serving us. It is not good for us. I call this big food because it's not even real food, people, and they're addictive. Yeah, sugar actually increases your dopamine response. And so dopamine gets increased with things like, addictive substances, illicit substances, gambling, things like that. But sugar will kick up your dopamine response. And so you don't have fat kicking that up. You don't have protein kicking that up. And so you feel like you just can't say no. And you always feel like it's calling your name. Well, part of the problem with that, well, not part of the problem with that is that this big food is man-made. Fiber's been pulled out of it to make it addictive. So you can overeat it. So white rice now is all fluffy, missing all the fiber components. And we need the fiber components. We need the different colors of the rainbow and all the veggies, but we need the fiber in our grains because it blocks inflammation from the body. And it also helps us decrease the insulin resistance. Now, the other part of this is fasting, and usually fasting is where people go left. But our body was already supposed to heal with this process alone. Like, we didn't have to do anything for this. You don't have to buy a detox. Just don't eat for 17 to 72 hours and you're going to be able to detox. But if you're somebody dealing with insulin resistance, that's easier said than done. But when you get past that 17 hours, because that is where you get into autophagy, this was found by Dr. Osumi. He got the Nobel Prize for this. So I'm not making this up. This is not a Dr. Tiffany thing. This is a real science thing. But after you get past 17 hours to 72 hours, you get things like enhanced immune function, getting rid of pathogens and viruses, broken down mitochondria in the cells, toxins are gone, improving cognition. I mean, so many great benefits happen when we just stop eating. And so some would say, if I'm having insulin resistance, I'm going to need a little help with this, right? So how can GLP-1 help? Well, you know what? We were already given a hormone to help this. It comes from our gut, our small intestine. It's called GLP-1. That's a hormone we already have. So when I say this, a lot of people think of, the shots. They do. They immediately think of that. But we already had this in our body, and it slows down how food moves through our body, our gut, our intestines. But it also talks to our brain to tell us we're not hungry. Yeah, it was already there. But because of our lifestyle, because of the food we've been eating, the processed foods, it is not working like it's supposed to. So these shots were made to bind to a receptor to pretend like they are that hormone. And that's what you see with people. Unfortunately, when you take something outside of the body, there's some crazy side effects that happen. I like to call it baggage. So when you have the weight loss from GLP-1 injectables, Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, 40% of that weight loss is from lean muscle mass, like your bone and your muscle. And I kind of need that. If you are over the age of 20, you need that. Okay, that's not going to grow back so easily. But not only that, you have things like thyroid cancer risk, pancreatitis, gastroparesis. That's when your gut is paralyzed. Okay, that usually doesn't go away, people. Now, we've had people using the products to where they've actually reversed this too. But gut perforation, we don't want that. I just told you about leaky gut. So a hole in your gut, those are surgical issues, surgical emergencies. Okay. Now, that whole GLP-1, not only does it slow down food in your gut, but it also turns off the food cravings. And so sweet cravings is what it does. So that's what that hormone does. And that's what that receptor, the shot, does as well. But after 2 years, the shot stops working as well. And you end up needing a higher dosage or a different medication. Great thing is, when you're taking something natural, we don't see that that's an issue. And I love it. I love it. When you're trying to boost your own GLP-1 hormone, you start to feel better. And so one of the great things is the drinks that we use is a yerba mate extract, and it boosts your GLP-1 level in a fasted state up to 60 to 70%. Part of it is the ferulic acid gets in the gut and stops the breakdown of GLP-1. So having a good gut to be able to break down ferulic acid and change it into that hydroxyferulic acid is huge. That allows us to have an even bigger amount of GLP-1 in our system without having to take something outside the body. And then the other part of this is a fiber blend. It has 7 strands of fiber in it and a multivitamin, been around for 30 years. And Jim's going to go into all that. But what it does is it treats our microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in our gut microbiome that are like begging for the right things to eat. This is feeding it the right things to eat. So now it can break down what we're eating appropriately so we can get what we need from it better. And so why am I speaking up? One, because did y'all hear Samira's story? Who wouldn't want to talk and be like on fire after that, right? But thousands of lives have been changed. And we get texts from people telling us about how great they feel. And, we get to see pictures. And then at this point, there's been 1 million people who've been touched by these products. That is huge. So end result, insulin resistance is not just diabetes for one, and it's not genetic. It's 100% lifestyle. So yes, I've heard somebody say, I thought it was in my DNA, but it was in my dinner. And it is. So what's stopping you from taking back control of your health now? What's stopping you from being the superhero in your own life? Because this is how I feel every day. And if you don't feel that way after hearing Samira's story and all these other stories we talk about, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to you. But I am Dr. Tiffany Marie, and I'm on TikTok, Facebook, IG, YouTube, and I'm here every week.
You just said 1 million people have been touched by it. So yes. Dr. Tiffany and I have the same sponsor. I think Dr. Tiff mentioned that in her introduction. Her name is Amory, and Amory sent me a text about 3 or 4 weeks ago that said, that's all it said. 1 million people have tried the Feel Great system.
Yes.
That is a big deal.
Yes.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That was the coolest text. So, truth be told, I believe Amory saved my life. And I owe a great deal to her. So, love her to death. So,
yes.
Okay, let me dive into what this is. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of hit the gas pedal a little bit because here I thought I had this great plan. I was like, I'm gonna have like 20 or 30 minutes. I don't. And that's okay because people don't really care about hearing mine as much. But I wanted to go through some of the science, okay? Rexall Pharmacy. How many people remember Rexall Pharmacy? Yeah, right? So at one point, Rexall Pharmacy was the largest pharmacy chain in North America. They had like 11,600 stores. And I always like to put that into perspective, right? Right now, there's about 13,000 McDonald's. So about as frequently as you would see a McDonald's today, you would have seen a Rexall in its day. It's kind of crazy. They were that prominent. Now, they're pretty much gone from the United States, but they're still actually pretty prominent throughout Canada.
Yeah.
And if you go to a Dollar General, you might find some Rexall products in a Dollar General or something like that. But in the late 80s, they developed this product. It's called BioSlife. Now, this is actually a packet from Australia. BioSlife is available in like 60 some countries globally. But in the late 80s, Rexall Pharmacy developed BioSlife. And the idea was, there were all these supplements that were coming onto the market. There was Metamucil, there was Benefiber, and they thought, hey, we could do that too. And so those were psyllium husk or wheat dextrin. They were a single source. And what Rexall thought was, hey, let's get a bunch of different types, both soluble and insoluble fiber. And so what it is 7 different plant-based fibers. Now, simultaneously, I don't know if you guys remember or not, but the late 80s Centrum, right, and the Flintstones multivitamins, like these things started to really make a push too. And Rexall, of course, trying to make a big impact, thought, hey, isn't there something behind vitamins and absorption? Like, isn't there something there? And what if we put the two together? Would that help with, first off, compliancy? Like, would people do it more frequently? They'd be more compliant with it. Yeah. And then also, would there be any sort of benefit as far as like absorption and that sort of thing? And so that thing right there, BioSlife, what it really is a blend. It's by the way, there's 4 different patents on this. There's more than a dozen clinical validation studies on it. But what it is a blend of 7 different plant-based fibers and a multivitamin. And I say and a multivitamin. It's a full B complex, B6, B7, B9, B12. It's got 410% of your B6, 90% of your daily folate equivalent. That's the B9. And I say daily folate equivalent because they use folic acid. It's a more shelf-stable and bioavailable product than the alternative. So we do use folic acid in lieu of folate. And so it's 90% of your daily folate equivalent and then 1,040% of your B12. Crazy. It's got chromium, it's got zinc, it's got all sorts of different things in it that we need. Now, this thing right here kind of changed the way that the supplements were looked at. And I want to go to my internet real quick. Here we go. If you just go over to Google and ask Google, what is the top heart hospital in the United States? They will tell you, their little AI thing would tell you it's the Cleveland Clinic. In fact, that is from this article right here. This is best hospitals for cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery. They ranked the Cleveland Clinic as number 1, not only as number 1, but with a perfect score, 100 out of 100. And I always like to just throw in, it's good to get multiple opinions. And so Statista in 2024 ranked them number 2 behind the Mayo Clinic. Whether you're talking about number 1 or number 2, if the Cleveland Clinic says something about hearts, we should probably listen. Now, this study right here, fiber and multivitamin combination therapy. Remember, that's what BioSlife is. This was published in September of 2002, so a little over 23 years ago. This was actually done. If you wanted to read the whole thing, you can hit that little DOI link down there, and it will take you to this. This is the full study, fiber and multivitamin combination therapy. And you'll notice it's from the preventative cardiology section of the Cleveland Clinic. And the fiber tested was BioSlife 2. And over here, just the LDL response. I guess I'm going to ask the question real quick. How many people are concerned about their LDL cholesterol? Just ahead, if you're concerned about your LDL cholesterol, just say me. I'm curious how many people are. And what they said, the Cleveland Clinic, this is the top heart hospital in the United States. By the time of the interim visit, which was 4 weeks after randomization, the treatment group demonstrated significantly lower LDL-C than the placebo group. That trend continued through the next 4 weeks to the end of the blinded phase. In fact, you could scroll down a little bit and they provided all the values. Here's the values. You can see significant reduction in LDL. You can see improvements in total cholesterol, HDL. I've been talking a lot lately about mine, Dr. Tiff. My HDL went from a 22 to a 46. That's not supposed to happen from food.
Mm-mm.
Triglycerides. It was just amazing. In fact, the Cleveland Clinic went on to say such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. And I just want to reword that really quick. Such a product, they were talking about BioSlife, if taken regularly, could reduce heart disease for everyone and potentially decrease the need and or dose for statins. 23 years ago, top heart hospital in the United States. That's a very bold statement. Now, they weren't the only ones to study it. This is the home of the glycemic index, as in if you type glycemicindex.com, it will take you to the University of Sydney, Australia. If you hit the About page, it will talk about her. Her name is Professor Jenny Brand Miller. She's a PhD. She's an internationally recognized authority on carbohydrates and the glycemic index with over 250 scientific publications. Why am I bringing her up? Well, she has studied it as well. The effects of a fiber-rich nutritional supplement, BioSlife. That is her, Dr. Jenny Brand Miller, and the University of Sydney, Australia, for Unicity International. Now, this study right here, the fiber-rich nutritional supplement BioSlife Slim decreased the glycemic index of 3 common starchy foods, namely white bread, white rice, and mashed potato. In each case, it reduced the glycemic indices from high glycemic foods to medium glycemic foods. Furthermore, and noteworthy given the relevance of insulin in obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and more, the fiber supplement reduced the insulin index for all 3 test foods, effectively reducing the insulin secretion following food ingestion. That's exactly what Dr. Tiff just explained was the problem. So that is the University of Sydney, Australia. That's the Cleveland Clinic. And there's so much more on balance. In fact, I could keep on going, but I'm under a clock here because I didn't give myself enough time. That's just how I do. I want to talk about this study right here. This study was published in October of 2023. And it looks at yerba mate supplement. Dr. Ben Bickman, remember that top metabolic scientist, the #1 guy in the world? This is his peer-reviewed published research on Unimate. I want to go down and just point out that he used Unicity's mate in this study. That is powerful. What this study really shows is that it increased your body's ability to burn fat efficiently. It made us a more efficient fat burner. Says the guy who grows fat cells for a living. That's a very powerful statement. Now, after he published that, he actually went and did a podcast with somebody else where he gets asked to do a lot of podcasts. That's just what, I guess when you're as big a deal as he is, you get asked to do a lot of podcasts. So he is no different. This was him on a podcast just a few months after he published that.
That I'll be sharing at a meeting in March in Las Vegas is that this yerba mate supplement called Unimate also increases GLP-1. We found in this experiment we did, the GLP-1 levels went up by about 70% in a fasted state, which is pretty considerable.
That's pretty amazing. So that is Dr. Bickman saying that Unimate increases GLP-1 by up to 70% during a fasted state. It makes you a more efficient fat burner. Unimate is also patented as well. There's a ton of clinical validation studies. In fact, Dr. Bickman is enamored with that product. He's crazy over that product. So I think I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in hot, guys.
You know what, Jim? That was actually in one of our metabolic classrooms that you get to sit in when you're in his coaching.
Really?
So another good reason to sit in. You get some highlights about the studies he does before he even shows them.
Oh, wow. That study was? Okay. Yeah, he's crazy for this product.
Yeah.
So Unimate comes in 4 different flavors right now. There's 2 standby flavors, lemon and lemon ginger. I like to say that lemon kind of tastes like an Arnold Palmer. I've got somebody right now who's describing it as a lemon drop.
No.
Maybe? No? I would say Arnold Palmer. Is that close?
That's what I would say. That's what I would say.
And then lemon ginger, if you like ginger, lemon ginger is just a lemon with that little tap on the back of your throat of ginger. It's just a little bit of heat to let you know that there's some ginger in it, right? They are kind of the old standbys. If you like ginger, you'll love lemon ginger. If you don't like ginger, go with the lemon. Simple. If you like ginger and you feel like going for the gusto, we have Fierce. Now, Fierce has a therapeutic level of ginger rolls. Legitimate therapeutic level. And it's no longer a tap on the back of your throat. It's a swift kick to the face. It's all that and then some. I'm actually drinking it right now. I love this stuff. Do you like the way I described that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we just released our seasonal drink as well. It's called Apple Spice. And really, I love the way Rav described this. Just think of it as Christmas in a cup.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of tastes like apple cider. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Apple cider. Dr. Bickman says that we are just mixologists. That's what we do. That right there, Fierce and Apple Spice, fire. Absolute.
Really?
Yes. I don't drink anymore. I quit drinking. A lot of people know that. I quit drinking. But one of my favorite drinks used to be a hot toddy.
Oh.
That's a hot toddy. It is a hot toddy.
Mm.
Drink it hot. It's all that. Okay. So there's those. And what's going to happen, you're going to order the kit. You'll get 2 teas. When you wake up in the morning, start drinking one of the teas. You're going to get a bottle like Dr. Tiff has right there. Sip on it. The biggest thing is to sip on it. You can serve it cold in that bottle. You can serve it hot in a Yeti thermos. You do it however you want to do it. But the trick is to sip on it, okay? When it's gone, start drinking the second one. It's pretty simple. It is so simple. What you're going to find is an amazing boost of energy, mental clarity, like you forgot was available. You didn't even know that it could happen anymore.
Right.
But behind the scenes, this thing is increasing your GLP-1. It's an appetite suppressant. It's helping to lower blood pressure. I didn't get to dig into the science as much as I wanted, but it's really high in something called chlorogenic acid, which lowers blood pressure. It's got anti-lipidemic and it helps with glucose control, lipids control. It really is amazing. Behind the scenes, it's doing some really cool things. And then before your heaviest meal of the day, and by heaviest meal, I mean the one that has the most carbohydrates, drink your Balance. The same bottle that Dr. Tiff has right there has a line on it that says Balance. Just fill it up to that with cold water, not hot water. Hot water will be a mistake you make one time. Don't do that. Cold water, mix it up. Don't sit there and shake this thing like you got a tambourine. Just get it over with. Just shake it enough to get it to mix, down the hatch like you're in college at a frat party, and then enjoy your meal. That's it. That is the entire system. Pair that with an intermittent fasting schedule. There are 2 flavors for Balance. Think of orange as, I like to equate this to an Orange Julius.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're unfamiliar with Orange Julius, you haven't lived. But if you haven't heard of an Orange Julius, which is shocking how many people haven't, that might be how I got diabetes. Think of it like an orange, what is it called? An orange creamsicle? Is that what they call them?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. They're mixed berry, might taste like a sweet tart or, Jolly Ranch or something like that. Both of them, it kind of feels like you're taking breakfast before dinner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dessert.
Dessert.
I'm not kidding. They're really, really good. Okay. Unicity accepts HSA and FSA. The system costs $159 per month. They also accept credit cards. They accept all sorts of forms of payment. They really are flexible in trying to help you get healthy. The coolest thing about this, about $5.30 a day, really, in the United States. It's available in 60 countries, so it'll be about the equivalent no matter where you're at. But the coolest thing about this is they will offer you a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you aren't satisfied, just ask for a refund. They'll give you all of your money back. All of your money back. It's easy. But what they're doing, they're guaranteeing you're going to lower your A1C, your cholesterol. They're guaranteeing you're going to lower your blood pressure. They're guaranteeing these things. And if it doesn't, ask for a refund. They'll give you all your money back. It's that simple. There's nothing to lose, everything to gain. I talk too much. He said tambourine. Yes, I did, Donald. Okay, so let me bring back out Samira.
And there's a question in there.
We did get a question. Can you take this product if you're trying to conceive? Doc, you want to take that one?
Well, you're really just taking an herb and some fiber. So they're trying to conceive. There isn't anything that's going to interact with that. You get your folic acid. So actually, there is no reason to think you cannot take that.
Yeah. In fact, we had somebody on our live stream. It's been 6 months ago, maybe. Go back and watch that one. But Chelsea had been diagnosed with PCOS, and she actually reversed PCOS and had a baby. She'd been told she was infertile. And she couldn't carry a baby to term, and that baby is beautiful now. That baby's about 5 or 6 months old.
Yeah.
So guess what? Yeah. And she did. She used it all through, and she did conceive. It was pretty cool. Okay. So Samira, I'd love to ask this question here. There's a lot of people who are sitting here thinking that this is hocus pocus. This is just some sort of sales gimmick. This is some sort of pyramid scheme or something like that. They're gimmicks. We get it. I get it. There's snake oil in the marketplace. Everybody's been conned once. What do you say to that person?
I thought the same thing. And I asked myself, should I go for it? And I did. Because you tried everything else. Why not? Somebody told me the same thing. Well, why should I take this? I'm living full proof of why you should. And my story is not fabricated. Are my friends who are here on this live seeing what I was going through? You know, they was there for it. So it works. It helps me.
Samira.
Yes.
Nobody told me to put this up.
Yeah.
I almost forgot. Dr. Tiff, you got to tell me about this stuff.
Oh, yes. Well, I can let Samira do it because that top left, that's before the hospitalization. And then after, when she lost all that weight unhealthily. So she was really thin, but still struggling. And so I think that's such an important point to point out, because so many people say, I don't have to lose weight. I'm thin. I don't have insulin resistance. It's a lie. It's a lie. And then, you know, you see her after the 4 months. Now she's looking all shapely and statuesque and gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous in all three pics, but there's just something about the brightness. You can tell when people are feeling better. And that's what that bottom picture looks like to me.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Tiff, I'm going to give you last word, huh?
Well, you know, I think Samira's whole testimony was a mic drop, but I'm going to say this. If you are sitting there struggling at home, you got your whole basket of medications you're supposed to be taking. We know the percentage of people that don't take their medications and end up with amputations or heart attacks and strokes. If that's you not taking them because you're afraid of taking the medications, what is stopping you from trying something natural? What is stopping you at all? If best case scenario is that you're going to be like Samira, feeling like the best you've ever felt in your life, and worst case is you just don't get any better, why is it not worth it to try it? That's what I don't get. So that's all I got to say today is don't do this to your family. Your family sees you struggling. They want something better for you. This is a natural option. All you have to do is try it.
Get with the person who referred you to this, and they'll tell you how to order it. Give this thing, if you're going to try this, go into it with a 90-day mindset. Go into it with the mindset of, hey, this is a gimmick, and I'm going to get my money back. Test that policy. Give it a shot. We do this live stream every single week. Come back and see us again next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. You guys are amazing. Dr. Tiff, Samira, thank you so much, Samira. That was an amazing story.
Yes, it
Thank
was.
you. Thank you, Dr. Tiff and Pitmaster. Thank you.
See you guys.